guys and girls, welcome back. It's Gaz at Fermented World. Today I'm taking a look in on my Acerglyn, which is a maple syrup mead. We're going to have an all-important taste, and also we're going to do a hydrometer test. Now this in recent days has really slowed down with its activity. It's still going, so there's still sugars in there, which is a good thing. I started this on the 4th of March, now is the 15th. So yeah, it's had a good amount of time to do some tang. So we are going to take a hydrometer test and a taste test. So I'm going to get my little taster glass out. Hallelujah. It's very important to have a taster glass. First of all, a hydrometer. These have been sterilised, by the way. Everything that touches this is sterilised. Everything. Now it has a fermented fruit smell to it, which is rather peculiar, being as there's no fruit in it. Right. Now I've got loads of bubbles going on from obviously inside the fermentation, so we'll try and get rid of them, but chances are we're not going to be able to get rid of all of them. But last time I did this, and I thought, oh yeah, we'll get rid of all of the bubbles and that will change the reading. It didn't change the reading at all. So that's currently at 10. 1.010, which is almost dry. So that's going to go back in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare some stoppers, which is in here, and I'll tell you what the chemicals are. We have potassium sorbate and sodium metabisulfate, and we're going to put them in there to stop this fermentation. I have got more maple syrup, so I may end up back sweetening it with maple syrup instead of honey. It smells a bit nicer now that it's out of the vessel there. Yeah, that's all right. Not what I expected. The maple syrup's takes quite a background. Now this recipe I took out of this book, and I tried to follow the amounts and stuff without going off track. And I did add more honey to this one than they had on there, but it's only a small amount, and it was only just because I didn't want to leave a small piece of honey in the container. But the maple syrup was about the same, was about right. So I mean, it's nice enough, but it's weird. It's as if can't quite put my finger on it. At first it tasted fruity, but then it does have that maple syrup flavour, but it's not a great deal there. It might be because it's so young, it's got a tanginess to it. Right, so I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go prepare the stoppers. Alright, so history has a habit of repeating itself, and I didn't learn from one of my previous mistakes where you sterilise everything that you may need. Well, I didn't do that, and I quickly had to sterilise the jug, the auto siphon and my mixing stick, mainly because they're going to be used to rack this off when I add these stoppers to it. And I didn't do that, so I had to quickly vamoose and go do that. So we are adding 1 Campton tablet, crushed, as finely as possible to help it to dissolve into the liquid. Okay. It is half a teaspoon of the potassium sorbate. Into the Mickey Mouse bowl. Right. We're then going to add that in a second to this, which is where this is going to be going. We're racking from here to here, and then it will go in a clean vessel, because we want to take it off the yeast that's on that layer at the bottom there, to try and save some of that sweetness so I don't have to back sweeten it. I think I'm going to have to, because it's gone down to 1.010, which is quite dry. It's on the verge. It's like medium dry or semi-sweet, whichever. It's on the borderline anyway. So yeah, we're going to rack it off simplex, and I'm going to add this into the bottom of there. So as it does rack off, it mixes those two. We're going to mix it in anyway, but it just it makes sense to do it now. And I'm going to clip that on there, and I'm going to speed this bit up. So the fermentation stoppers are in there. And what they're going to do is they're going to encase the yeast particles and stop them from absorbing any more sugar and converting it into alcohol. The stoppers can take anything from 24 hours to, I've had one it took 3 days for it to do it, and nearly added extra. And what I'm doing now is I'm just stirring it gently to try and take any CO2 that's still in there from the fermentation out, because it can give off flavours. Just gently, really gently. As I always say, we're not trying to introduce oxygen here. That's what we don't want to do. We want to do this nice and slowly. And then we're going to take this and we're going to rack it off into the clean demijohn. And then let it stop. Once it's stopped, we will then see what we're going to do with it. Whether we're going to keep it as it is, as a semi-sweet, or whether we're going to add some more maple syrup to bolster that flavour, which is why we put it in there in the first place. That's where I'm leaning towards. That's what I think I'll be doing. Right. We've still got CO2, bubbles, particles, yada yada yada, but I'm not really too worried, because we're going to rack it off again now. So it's going to be moving once again from there to there, dispersing any bubbles as it goes. I've written on this, but I've just wiped all the flipping thingy off it. So yeah, I'm going to speed this bit up, because all we're doing is racking it back from there into there. That's that in there. Re-add the airlock. Do not break the hydrometer, because that would be dastardly. I do have a spare. Yeah, always get a spare hydrometer. I've not broken one yet, touch wood. but yeah, apparently they're quite easy to break. The glass on them is really brittle apparently. And there you go, that's the Acerglyn racked off, stoppers put in. It's currently at 15.2%, which is higher than I wanted it, but what you're gonna do, you know, I left it too long. That's my fault, but you know, either way, it's gonna taste nice. Now, it's not as sweet as I'd like it, so I'm gonna let it settle out. The stoppers are gonna do their thing, and then I believe I will be adding some of this. Maybe not all of it, maybe all of it, I'm not sure. It's not as sweet as honey is. Honey's got like 83 grams of sugar per 100 grams. This is 63, so it might, a whole one might suffice. But we won't know until we try it. I'll add half, I'll mix it in, I'll taste it, we'll see where we're at. You can always add, you can never take away. Righty-ho, well that's that then, that's just simple as that. Everything's done for that, and we'll leave it a few days for it to stop the fermentation, rack it off again, and possibly back sweeten with this. You never know, it might just taste okay, it might be happy, I might be happy with it, but who knows, we'll see. Thanks for watching, bye bye.